But no, last night the Cavs could not buy a shot from the three-point arc.
Yeah.
Their offense left a lot to be desired, but they played some incredible defense to shut down the Pistons, and in particular, someone that G. Bush had been calling out for his lackluster defense of late showed up in a big way. G, you may start calling out more players because every time you call someone out, they seem to respond in terrific fashion. But Max Strus last night did an incredible job slowing down Cade Cunningham in the win. G, what'd you make of Max Strus' defensive performance last night?
See, this is what I'm saying. Some people be thinking that they can just get offense off and that's their game. You know, in basketball, everybody ain't no scorer. Like, people be wanting to just get their offense going and they concentrate so much on the offensive side of the floor. But really, what's going to keep you on the floor and keep you in the rotation is what else other stuff are you doing? And Max Strus has been concentrating on his offense, trying to get into the flow of things, trying to figure out where he needs to be on the floor. But while you're figuring that out on the run, you need to be playing lockdown defense. He need to go into the locker room every single night and tell himself, hey, I need to be the best defensive. I need to put the most energy and expel the most energy out here, because that's all defense is. All defense is attention to detail, want to, and tenaciousness. And that is something you can control. Like, you might not be hitting shots. You know that you're undersized when you're guarding some of these guys. But if he takes the challenge and says, listen, I know that they're going to come after me. I'm the shortest guy. I'm going to be playing threes. I'm going to be playing taller wing guys. I know what the game plan is. So I'm going to have to take that personal challenge, and I'm going to have to make myself be like, hey, look, if my shots ain't falling, even if I'm not hitting a three-point shot, even if I'm not involved in offense, what I'm going to bring to the table is I'm going to expel everything I can on the other end of the court. And you know what? Yesterday he did that. He showed he can play, but he has to be at that level for the Cavs to be able to be successful. 10 points, look, 4-9, but I love the fact that you rebounded the basketball well. Ooh. And Cade Cunningham, we laughed and joked, said he was on his way to 30 because they was giving 30 and 40 up to everybody. That was good. So,
and he took like 700 shots.
Yeah, 9 for 26.
And so I like that. That's the energy. That's the bounce back energy. And I'll be interested to see what spawned that. Did somebody talk to him? Or did he kind of just take it out upon himself and say, I'm going to take the challenge?
By the way, Max Strus looks like a tennis player, doesn't he?
Who's that?
Oh, yeah.
Max
Strus.
Yes.
He looks like a tennis, especially when he wears that weird headband.
Oh, yeah, totally.
In the game.
He looked way different when he had the shorter hair.
Yeah.
He looks like...
Now he looks like,
his name is Rafael Federer.
Right.
He looks like he could be like a great Italian player or something.
Exactly.
I don't even know what nationality is.
Where did this come from? And the Cavs did a great job on the boards in general yesterday, which they haven't been very good. Where did this come from?
From Strus or as a team?
Has Strus had this capability?
He comes from Miami, and if you don't play defense in Miami, you
so then why hasn't he played any defense here?
Well, that's what I want to know.
I think you guys have – what's the word I'm looking for?
Or you say he has, and G was just talking out his you-know-what yesterday?
No, but like when he got cooked by SGA.
Yeah.
That's SGA.
Everyone gets cooked by it. Like, I think we pick and choose certain matchups that –
I hear you.
It's very – like, who does a good job
slowing down? Yeah, but Cade Cunningham's been cooking a lot of people this year.
Now, real quick with Cade, and then Tyvis jump in.
Yeah.
Cade's 6'6", he's big, dude.
Yeah,
and Strus yesterday picked him up full court and made his life difficult. And now that he's in the starting lineup, and remember, when he's coming off the bench, he's playing a different role than he is when he's the fifth guy in the starting lineup. It kind of changes what his job is and his function within the Cavs to make them work is when he's asked to score off the bench as opposed to be the fifth cog with the core four. When he's with that core four, his role isn't create offense. His role is do all the dirty things, pick guys up full court, dive on the floor, be kind of, and I say this in a good way, he's an asshole on the court. You need kind of that edge and attitude, and he's not scared to kind of mix it up and be physical.
Mike, you correct me if I'm wrong. In my opinion, nobody in the NBA, not a single player, should be bad on defense, ever.
A lot of it's effort.
To me, it's all about it. Yes, I'm not saying you could be elite just because of effort, but every player in the NBA should be at least adequate defensively. Nobody should be bad.
Yeah,
if you're bad, it's because you're not trying hard enough.
But don't you think being a two-way player is like the hardest thing in all sports? You got to give 100% effort on defense, and then you got to turn around and be able to go. Like that's hard.
Like I was going
for the whole game.
I was going
like that's hard.
That's what you're getting paid to do.
Y'all guys play special teams, right?
Yeah.
That's one player, all out effort.
Like y'all cats know, like, you got to be like, yo, you better get your money here.
Oh, yeah.
Because other than that, you don't know what kind of reps you're going to get. So it's almost like if you got a player that don't take it serious, he got drafted in the 5th round, and he don't take special teams serious, and a veteran come up to you like, hey, dog.
You about to get cut. That's what's about to happen. You about to get cut.
Oh, it happened to me.
You did that?
Somebody rolled up on you?
I had coaches.
Wow.
Yeah, my second year, like, dude, you're 3rd team on the punt team. He's like, you're not going to make the squad, bro. I'm like, you're right. And all of a sudden, I started getting my ass in the film room.
Early. So if Max Strus going to start, listen, if they're going to put him in the starting lineup, his role, like you said, his role is changing. You might not get no shots. Your job is to come off screens.
Or he'll get shots.
Or available in the corner when they can drive and kick. But his biggest impact is, I cannot be a liability because I know they're going to go at me. I know they're coming.
I think the biggest thing out of everything, the defense is phenomenal, but the biggest thing that they showed out of there was the rebounding, because what made Dean Wade so good when he was at the 3? It was what's that crazy stat that they only lost like 1 or 2 games with Dean Wade starting, or whatever the heck it was that McNugget said. But Dean Wade brought that size. He brought that good defense. But, you know, he's a spotty shooter. He'll hit you a 3 every once in a while, but that's not really what his game is. To where if Max Strus can do that, not saying that he obviously doesn't have the same size, as Dean Wade, but if he going to be out there in that third
yeah, he don't got that girth.
Yeah, man. Length. Long.
Let's face it, D Wade ain't got no girth. Come on, let's keep it real.
I'm trying to wrap it up here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to bring it home here. Let me. If you're gonna be that third guy, like, you got to be able to get those rebounds. If Mobley and Allen can't do it, you got to be able to do
Third
that.
leg.
You got to be able to slide your feet and play that defense. And we know that you are more of an offensive presence. They will respect you more because you was like a big-time free agent get for the Cavs because of the shooting that you did with Miami. So, like, when you're out there, people know that you can shoot the 3-ball better than Dean Wade or Isaac Okoro or anybody else that plays your 3.
That's true.
So you automatically have more of an offensive presence and people fear you more. But if you're going to slide your feet and play this defense and do the dirty work as well, now that makes this starting lineup, one of the best in the NBA. Maybe you don't have to go out and get a Cam Johnson, which I don't know where they at on that. But
you do.
Bro,
I'm just saying, maybe you don't. If he can, listen, I'm just saying, maybe I was
going to ask y'all this question. Hey, McNuggets, like, it has to be a certain part of this where, like, say, for instance, you and the Cavs right now, they got the best team in the East. You like, yeah, we in there. We in there like swimwear, bro. We about to get this first seed. We going to the playoffs. It's guaranteed. If you like Okoro or Karis LeVert or Niang or Strus, Merrill,
you're playing to prove a point.
Don't you? Ain't you sitting there and being like, please don't trade me. Please don't trade me. I can't be part of that Cam.
I don't want to get stuck on the Nets.
I can't get put in that Cam Ward deal.
Yeah.
Like that Cam Ward. Cam Johnson. Like, I can't get put into that deal. Are they out there playing for their livelihoods?
Yeah, I mean, LeVert and Okoro right now are hurt, which doesn't help their situation. Niang's playing, Strus is playing, but yeah, I mean, I think that's part of the personal nature of being an NBA player and being in potential trade talks on a contender around the deadline.
That would suck.
I would be
if
sick.
you're a player on the Cavs right now, and you get traded to the Nets. I mean, that would be awful. It'd be like, well, at least I can get good pizza.
Or they move you that's like moving you to the practice squad, bro. Like you like, but I thought I was.
But then again, if you get traded to the Nets, you get more playing time.
Mm-hmm. We don't care about that.
What do you mean you don't care about that? The only way,
some players care about that.
People care about money. The only way I'm going to get money is if I perform on the court.
Well, all of them, they got the extensions except for Okoro, right?
No.
LeVert. Okoro just got signed, right?
Yeah, he's a 3-year deal, or 2 more after this year.
Yeah, that would suck.
Dustin, what'd you think of Strus' performance yesterday?
He's awesome, man. I always thought that people were critical of him because he didn't seem to live to the contract that he was given. But he's playing great right now. Like, he's not just hitting the threes, but he's also playing the great defense that I think you guys hit on some really good points. He played in Miami. Like, that's what they're known to do, and they don't put up with BS down there. You can see what's happening with the Jimmy Butler thing right now. Like they have got a culture and how they play and how they go about their business.
Get that over with.
And they probably will trade him at some point. But the point being here with Max Strus, like he is a great fit for this team.
Yeah.
And he's realizing his potential, and maybe it's the coach too that matters. You know, we saw what he was able to do last year, and now we can see what he can do this year with Kenny Atkinson, and his role is expanding as we go. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can bring to the table. And those big shots he hits, man, those are going to be crucial in the playoffs. And the Cavs have a lot of great shooters on the outside, including him.
And if he is starting in the playoffs, he's going to get great looks.
Oh, yeah.
So he's got to knock down those shots. Yeah, go ahead.
One other thing with Strus that I do think is worth mentioning in any kind of conversation we have about the Cavs currently and in the future. When they hired Atkinson, when people, including myself, but just in general, when people asked, hey, when you bring this new offensive system, who do you think's a great fit? His first answer was always Strus. Strus fits into exactly what he wants to do with the pace and space and getting guys open off movement. And secondly, we'll talk about this a little later in the show when we get to the Cavs deadline primer and what they're kind of looking for, but we've seen certain role players in the Cavs kind of crumble come playoff time and just they may be great this year, they may not be. You don't know exactly what you're getting. Max Strus has been a starter on an NBA Finals team, and granted, he didn't shoot great in the finals. He shot incredible in the first 3 playoff series for the Heat that year. He's not a guy you have to be worried about in terms of, will the lights be too bright? Is he scared of the moment? Can he perform on the biggest stages? Because of all the Cavs role players, frankly, he's the only one that's shown he can.
Although you just said he didn't play well in the finals, so maybe on the brightest stage,
but
we don't know.
He played great in the 3 series up, and then
but it's all more intense the further you go, right?
I guess technically you are right, but he was part of the reason they beat Boston in that playoff series. They just didn't shoot well in the finals, but he's not a guy you have to be worried about. How will he handle the stage? He's been there. He's performed on it, as opposed to some other guys who have just never played on that level before.
By the way, I'm not someone who normally talks about uniforms, but I thought the Pistons uniforms were the worst uniforms I've ever seen last night. Anybody?
Wasn't a fan. I don't know if they're the worst ever.
The worst?
I thought they were horrible. I was like, what is this?
I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot of.
Those are so cheesy.
Look, those. I mean, it's a lot of trash unis, bro.
That was like the owner's kid put that together.
No, do you know the worst Pistons was that night that they had them Grant Hill
teal
Pistons?
One?
Them Grant Hill Pistons uniforms was terrible.
I like them.
I like the
teal.
teal.
I don't even know.
I hated those.
You don't know the teal one with the horse on it, with the flame on the head?
I'd have to see it. It's not coming to me.
I'll send you a picture.
All right.
Anyway,
good winning out. It's, I know Jay made a big thing yesterday. I didn't really agree with him that it was an important game because it's January, but it was a good win to get off the schneid here. And now we'll see how they play against Atlanta. Obviously, as Mike, you alluded to, it's a team they've struggled against.
Well, they got the Heat Wednesday on the road, and then they're home on Thursday.
And then
they lost to the Heat the first time, right?
Yeah.
Hey, they got to win both of these games. I don't want to hear that.
What do you mean they got it?
They got. Listen, there's no way you can spring straight to the Hawks. No, we're not going for that. You better get it together, bro.
If the Hawks beat them again, they really know something.
Yeah, they really like, come on. Something. They better play like that game is
like that game is serious.
That's
didn't the Cavs or I could be wrong, but I thought the Cavs had swept the Knicks 2 years ago in the regular season before the Knicks destroyed them in the playoffs.
I could look. Regular season.
That's what I'm just saying. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen in the playoffs.
We only talk about today.
The Hawks making the playoffs?
Yeah, the Hawks going to make the playoffs.
They're the 7th seed, right? They're tied with the Pistons.
Everyone makes the playoffs.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. The NBA. The last night on the broadcast where they're saying Donovan Mitchell's made the playoffs every year of his career. I love Donovan, but like in any other sport that would be an accomplishment. In basketball, there's 10 teams. I know it hasn't always been 10, but it was still 8, which is more than anybody else. Well, hockey does 8 too, but we don't pay attention to hockey.
But you must agree, basketball gives you the most definite champion.
What does that mean?
Like, if you win the NBA championship and it's all of them a 7-game series, you were the best team. Like, some could argue, like, in the NFL, don't nobody really make the playoffs, but they got some weird stuff where you can win 14 games and still be on the road.
Yeah, I think basketball, as opposed to, like baseball, you play a series. You know, baseball is more of, I hate to say it, but it's a little fluky. Yeah, I mean,
it can be more. It's more fluky,
you can get luckier.
The worst team is more likely to win in baseball.
I think it would be unlikely for Lehigh to beat Duke in a best-of-7 series.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay, it's not going to happen.
Right.
But they can beat them one time.
One time, maybe.
And
maybe two.
And that's a lot of other sports. Where basketball,
Right.
I do think you have the largest sample size of the best teams going up and having to do it consistently.
That's true.
Right? So at the end of the day, you win the finals like you're the best damn team.
You're the best.
Period.
No debate.
I mean, I would say the year that Dallas beat Miami, most people wouldn't say that, but there are exceptions. But yeah, I would say the team you think is the best team wins at a higher clip in the NBA than any other sport. That's fair.
I mean, you could get a team like Miami. They were a veteran team. They had Kidd and Nowitzki and Jason Terry.
Yeah.
And Miami, that was their first year together. It was the big three.
Yeah.
Like, you could catch somebody slipping. They had played together a long time. Miami was new, trying to figure it out. But you saw what happened that next year. After that,
the reason that the Heat lost was LeBron's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think.
But that's one example. I mean, overall, I think you
yeah.
definitely have to. I mean, to win a 7-game series in the NBA, you've got to be a better team.
Yeah.
I do think in the NFL, the best team wins a good deal of the time, too. But probably the NBA is a higher percentage. But football would probably be second.
I don't know. I mean, like, I hate to bring it back to Sunday, but, like, who's the better team, Chiefs or the Bills? They play 7-game series. Who wins?
I think it should be split.
The Chiefs, because they get the calls.
Well, okay, we can take that game out. But my point is, like,
But like Commanders Lions is a good example. If they played a 7-game series, is Washington
Right. Or if the games are going back between home and away. Like that plays a huge part.
I still think there's still not a lot of teams that win the Super Bowl that you're completely shocked won the Super Bowl.
That's fair.
That doesn't happen that often.
The Eagles.
The Eagles beat the Patriots.
Well, he said not off. He said not often.
I said not often, but